I have recently been forced to watch the playthrough of Undertale. I have done a drawing of Undyne before, so I've decided to do a redraw because this one that I'm showing you here is a little bit stiff and just maybe I can work on the pose a bit and make it slightly better and put more color in, not so monotone. I'm going to jump straight into it. I have not uploaded in a while, so let me first off just say I am apologizing for the blurriness of the start of the video, but it gets better very soon, so please bear with me. I wanted to show, that's part of the reason why I kept it in, I wanted to show that I started off with a very light gray for the skin color and added some pink in certain areas just for highlights, and then going over it with the darker bluish colors and gray colors. So yeah, the blurriness is going to go away soon. I also had some trouble with my lighting, but I fixed that very fast also. You see, it was my flash that made the shininess there on the top of her head where I'm coloring in now. That shininess is from my flash. And then after a little while I realized, but I don't even need my flash because I've got this other cool light, LED light that does a heck of a lot better than my flash. So yeah, I started using that. But like I said, I kept this in because I wanted to point out that I started off with the light gray colors, added the blues. And as you can see there, I was also using purple for shading instead of, like I did in my previous picture, just stick with the same blue, because even if she is blue, light doesn't work that way. You never monotone. Skin color is never monotone, whether it's a blue skin color or not. So purples, pinks, reds, and then I took it from there. While we're on the subject of Undyne, I've come to the realization that she might be my favorite character in the game. My darling daughter asked me who's my favorite character, and I couldn't choose. I said to her, I actually kind of like all of the characters in their own rights, but I don't think I have a favorite. But considering the fact that this is the second time that I'm drawing Undyne and I haven't drawn any of the others, yeah, I think it's safe to say that she might be my favorite. Same here with the hair. Back to the subject of drawing. I've used different shades of red, not just 2. I added 3 shades of red, and then added just wait for it. I'm going to show you now. The darker shade of red, like a pinkish red. She also doesn't have fringe. She doesn't have bangs, but I thought that could be like part of a ponytail hanging over her face because the wind is blowing it. Power pose. I added some blue into the hair just to put the shading there, and black for the eye patch. Kept the light very light there where the lightning comes out of her eye. Yeah. So with the coloring in pencils, I start from light going up to dark. I'm using Colleen's here because I've said this before. Colleen's is the best of the cheapest of the pencils that you can get. I've never tried working with more expensive pencils like, now none comes to mind, but I think that Colleen's are my favorite because 1, it's affordable, and 2, it's super easy to blend, and it just goes on smooth, and it's well pigmented, and it's very soft. I want to point out here, seeing that I'm working on a chest here, that this pose, her chest is slightly more turned to the side instead of viewing straight forward like the previous one, because the previous one looked a little bit too stiff, and if the one shoulder is higher than the other one, like in this picture with the arm above her head as she's getting ready to throw one of her spears, then having a straight torso doesn't make a lot of sense, and I think that's why my previous Undyne looked a tiny little bit stiff. So yeah, I had to fix that with this one. Also, you can see with the hips, if the shoulders are going in that direction, then the hips goes into the opposite direction, giving it more definition, making it more loose and more of a power pose, as opposed to it being just stiff looking. I added some red for shading into the armor as well. First of all, there is a little bit of red reflection that should be pointed out in the armor, but also the red is a very good complement color for this type of blue, this very deep royal blue that I love so much. And instead of using just black for the shading, the red just gives it also a little bit more definition, I think. I'm not one of those artists that say, don't use black. As you can see, I started off by putting the black where the light is shining mostly from the top, so at the bottom it should be darker. But I used black. I know a lot of people say, don't use black. But why not? I mean, it's quite defying. And what I like about this is I put the black on first, then I go over the black with the blue that I have, which automatically gives the black a bluish tint, so it's not pure black. I don't put the black on after I've done the coloring. I put it on before the coloring and then go over it with the color so that it's not pure black, and then it makes it this very dark, rich blue. Don't forget to leave in the lighter parts, and then you can press a little bit harder where you want it to be deeper. You're allowed to do that. The armor is also a little bit better than the previous one's armor. I added a little bit more spikies on her shoes. I added some spikes on her wrist guards. I don't know why I didn't do that with the previous picture. I think maybe I just didn't think about it, which is kind of stupid because her armor is very spiky. So put it in. Don't leave it out. Put it in. Yeah. So I think the armor came out a little bit better than the previous one also. Drawing Undyne is fun. And funny enough, watching the playthrough of the game was actually quite enjoyable. We basically watched Jacksepticeye's playthrough, and we loved the voices that he made. I know this is an old game and it's old news and everything, but if you really like something, it really should never get old. There's nothing wrong with rewatching it. So I enjoyed it, and one thing I'm upset about is while I was watching the genocide playthrough, I already started with this Undyne picture, and I thought, yeah, okay, this is a redraw. I tried to make it, keeping it the same, but just improving on it slightly. But while I was watching the game, I had this marvelous, epic picture in my head, and I thought to myself, who cares if I just did Undyne? I'm going to do her again, and I'm going to draw this picture. And I promise you, I don't know what happened, but literally 2 minutes later, the picture flew out of my head, never to be seen or heard from again, and I've been wrecking my brain to recapture that picture in my mind that I think would be so beautiful and so epic and so good, traditional art, and I can't. It's gone. It's pathetic and I'm angry about it, but it's gone. So I'm just going to have to try to think of something else again, but I'm very upset with myself for this. Okay, I've already started on the background here. Now, I used this very light blue just to softly color in the outlines of where the spears are, because it looks like her spears are made out of light. In this picture I also added some echo flowers. That is strangely quiet, or what does it say in the game? Oddly quiet. But anyway, I did some echo flowers here in the bottom that I didn't have in the previous picture. But same thing, I didn't take the pencil and make the lines. I softly colored in where the lines is supposed to be, so that when I put in the background with my soft pastels, which I love doing, I love my soft pastels for background, then I don't go into the white parts where the light is coming from. So this book that I'm drawing this in is not specifically made for soft pastels, but it is a multi-medium page, so it does take some of it, and I love using my soft pastels for backgrounds, especially when I do something like this where it's like shiny. So yeah, I made the darker blue after I've colored in all the places that needs coloring in. Then I went over with it and just wiped away softly the excess. I put some purple in here, which I didn't do in the previous background of the previous drawing, because I wanted to give it more definition, more shading, not just monotone. The previous picture is well done. I think she looks good, the background is good, but it's very monotone, and I wanted to have a little bit more diversity with color to give the picture a little bit more depth. Power landing on the vest. I love this pose. My daughter has done an amazing background for one of her drawings, also for the scene of waterfall. And she didn't use pastels, she used pencils for everything, but it came out so amazing. I really should ask her permission if I could show you guys the way she has, or show you guys what she has done. She's an artist also, and her background is just amazing. So I just wanted to say that. So yes, I like using my fingers, constantly wiping it off on a little piece of tissue so that I don't smudge the dark into the light, because you always start with the light, smudging it outwards. Just soft little movements, soft little smudging, because soft pastels doesn't need a lot. I just like the soft feathering and smoky effect that it gives the backgrounds, and that's part of the reason why I love working with pastels. It's also very messy, but hey, I like messy. I was very, very careful not to go over the white parts, and not to smudge the dark in too much. It is difficult, especially where there's sharp corners, and I would recommend using something like an earbud or the corner of a piece of tissue to go into the very corner things. But I didn't do it here because I didn't mind if some of the smudging goes over the edges. Not a lot, of course, but just a little bit, so that it gives it that more of a flowing. I don't even know how to explain it, so I'm not going to try. I didn't go over the lines, but it wasn't highly defined in the lines. Then I shook it off, and after I shook off all of the excess, made sure I smudged everything in, I first gave it a layer of what did I give it? Varnish, a thin layer of varnish adhesive, so it doesn't smudge anymore. And then I used some of these thicker lined Koki pens to just add a little bit of definition here and there where it's needed. Not a lot. I don't like using hard lines in my drawings. Okay, well, it depends on what I'm doing, but for the most part, I don't like hard lines in my drawings. As you can see, I didn't outline this first with any pens or anything. I just went straight in with coloring in pencils, no hard lines. But after the background, I realized there was here and there some places that need a little bit more definition. And then of course out comes the trusty white gel pen. You're putting all the highlights, and don't be afraid to go overboard with the white gel pen. If you can put gel pen in, put it in. Put it in everywhere. Just go crazy with the gel pen. And I actually think I did not overdo it with the gel pen in this picture. I actually think I could have added some white gel pen in more places, in more spots. So if you want to do more, don't think, oh, this is enough or it's too much. Just go crazy. Add in more and more and more and more. I think that's what you must do. Yeah. I'm drawing to end here. So let me just actually forgot what I wanted to say now. I'm not even going to edit this out. I forgot what I wanted to say. It's also fine. I added some dust particles with a white gel pen where the spears are coming out, and I thought that was also giving it a little bit more detail. And I think it looks good. Rounds off the picture nicely. Okay, so as this picture is drawing to an end here, let me take this opportunity to ask you guys to please like it and subscribe, and also leave a comment if there's anything you would have done differently using this medium or using this way of drawing. If there's something or where I can improve, please let me know. This is the comparison. So that's the first one and that's the second one. Like I said, I like the first one, but the second one is not quite so stiff. Look at that hand. That hand is ridiculous small. The other hand also looks funny small, so I've changed it to being on her knuckles, and did a little bit better with the whole pose overall. And I think maybe even the background a little bit, because it's not so monotone in color. So please like and subscribe. I'm going to do more videos. I need to do a portrait next. Haha. I've got commission for a portrait, so yippee. So thanks for watching, and thanks for watching to the end, if you did. Let me just write my name here, Reiki, and I've written down the date. So the previous picture I did in 2018, this is 2021, and voila. Bye for now. See you soon.